So I decided that I wanted to start documenting my code and the stuff that I code, and starting with this basic drawing app that I made in C++ using Raylib. I use Raylib because instead of OpenGL because I'm not too interested in learning about rendering. I'm kind of only interested in the parts of coding that I think are interesting, which are more like math reliant. I know rendering is very math, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm not too interested in the rendering aspect right now. I'd rather improve my C++ abilities. But beyond that, let's get into why I decided to make this video and why I'm deciding to make this video, because I thought what I did was pretty cool. So basically, I just make this program, right? And you can draw around on it. Of course, the drawing's not perfect. It's kind of annoying. And neither is this undo, but you know, you live. I'll live. But what I thought was cool was the way that I handled these lines. So basically, for making a line, I have a line tool so that you can make a straight line, just like any good drawing app would. So to make this line tool, or the line function, I decided to start it off with the number of pixels. The pixel count is going to be the hypotenuse of our safe position, which is s-pos, and then since this is a vector, the index 0 is just the x position, then minus the final position, x, comma, safe position, index 1, which is y, because in the coordinate system is x, y, right? And when you code, you start from 0, so x is the first, y is the second, but you subtract 1 from both because you're starting from 0, and x is 0, y is 1, minus final position, y. The reason why this is a regular vector and this is a vector too is really only because I wanted to have this be a float for something else, and this can't be a float with so it was the only real reason why. Then I divided by the thickness. The thickness is the size of each pixel. So if you think about it, right, the length of this line, right, divided by the size of each pixel would be the number of pixels in the line. Because, if I draw like 5 pixels and each pixel is 5 in width, then the length of the line is going to be 25. So just think about it like that. That's why I'm using that. Then theta is the final position, y, minus the safe position, which is basically the starting position, comma, final position x minus safe position x, which I'm getting theta to find the angle between my two cursor placements. This angle is going to be useful to help me actually draw the lines at slants rather than having them all be completely straight lines, because you don't want that for a line tool. Then I make this for loop for int I equals 0, I less than the pixel count, I plus plus, which if you know C++ or C# or literally almost any coding language, you'll know what this is. And then I made the adjusted position, the safe position, which is the initial position, plus the thickness, which is the size of each pixel, times I, which I is the pixel that we're on, times the cosine of theta for x, because this is a vector. If you can see, I defined it here. This is a vector. And then for y, I did basically the same thing. Safe position y plus thickness times I, which is basically the index, is the pixel that we're on, times sine of theta. I did it like this because it allows you to have direction. So cosine and theta are very useful if you want to have direction in any context. Even, like if you know trigonometry, you will use these, and they are some of the most useful things in math. Then pixels.insert pixels, if I go to my pen.h, pixels is a vector of pixels. I decided to use vectors. I'm in love with vectors. And then pixels.end, you just add a pixel to the end, and it's going to be the adjusted position x, adjusted position y. The reason why this is a juxtaposition X and a juxtaposition Y rather than just having it be a juxtaposition is because this is an integer, which is very annoying, very annoying. Or all vector 2's are integers, and the Raylib like default stuff is, you know, sadly vector 2 instead of like, you know, like a regular vector. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And now I can draw lines. I think that, you know, it's not the most insane thing to ever exist, obviously. But I just wanted to document this, and I decided that I'm going to be documenting my stuff, so wanted to start with this.